No, I'm no longer a Christian. It took me a long time to be able to admit it and a longer time to have peace about it, but I certainly do now. In fact, I just wrote about this in a piece called There Is Nothing Left to Mourn. Earlier this week, I posted on social media, Turning Point USA's halftime show gave me a gift I didn't know I needed, and it was this: there is nothing left to mourn of my religious heritage. It was all indoctrination. The cute little songs, VBS, sin, forgiveness, God's unconditional love, which is absolutely conditional, all of it. That show was the manifestation of a white supremacy narrative, emboldened to stand in their bigotry, wrap it in a flag while citing scripture. I can finally release it fully. There's nothing left to mourn. What I've come to understand is that the changes in my writing reflect the transformation that has come from being committed to a life of deconstructing. I don't recognize who I am now in my words from 5 years ago, 10 even less so. As late as 5 years ago, I would have attempted to reconcile this transformation with Scripture by musing that perhaps this was the peace that surpasses all understanding to which Paul was referring. Here in 2026, I think not. I've no need for anything about my life to line up with the teachings of Paul. No disrespect to those who do, but for me, deconstructing had me walking out of church. I kept walking until I set down the Bible. I kept walking until I untethered completely from Christianity. And I kept walking. And for those who will ask, no, I am not an atheist, but I no longer fear being labeled an agnostic. For me, there's power in that. It's the label that fits the one who isn't afraid to doubt without letting go of the mystery. I may never be able to reconcile the two, but the tension that exists between these two spectrums is the space that I find absolutely divine. Admittedly, it's not for everyone. From here, after decades of deconstructing, I can unequivocally say that's okay. Those still anchored to my religious heritage would not, however, agree. They remind me daily that I am a heretic destined to their version of hell, crafted from generations of hellfire theology that has ensured the obedient will at least show up for church on Christmas and Easter to avoid the peril they are certain I am to experience one day. Suffice it to say, I no longer fear their hell. If it did exist, believers of a theology who pretend to care for children while remaining silent on the gruesome details emerging from the Epstein files would most certainly be destined for it. If not, the God who rewards that belief is not a God worth worshiping. And that is where my deconstructing journey collided with my big feelings earlier this week. As I watched Kid Rock lip sync across the stage in Grandpa's shorts intended to make him look youthful, but instead made him look foolish, I came face to face with grief that wasn't mine to carry. Because nothing about my Christian heritage was worth mourning. None of it. You can find that entire writing over on Substack. And no, I can say with peace that I am no longer a Christian. Thanks for the question.